Throughout the years in old school RuneScape, there have been multiple items, locations, and NPCs that in one way or the other have been removed from the game. However, despite these relics being removed, their files were documented by old school RuneScape wiki team and saved for historic purposes. Today, I want to show you these relics and find out how many interesting things there once was that don't exist anymore. And I promise you, some of these items are absolutely crazy. Like for instance, with the release of Tombs of a Masked Raids, there was supposed to come a helmet that you get after completing Beneath Cursed Sands quest. When the helmet was in your inventory, it looked identical to Verak's helmet, probably due to having no inventory model. However, when you equip it, it showcased the actual model. The hero's helmet, which was later named into the lion's helmet, was initially supposed to be tradable item, and the assumption here is that you can either check your raid scores or it had a teleport option near Necropolis that you can obtain after completing the quest. It was put into the game a few months before Raids 3 came out and just 1 week after it was removed forever, not to be seen again. Item number 2, the League Tomato. This orange looking tomato was meant to be an item used by Jagex moderators to test out the Twisted League back in 2020. It had multiple features like the debug option to fix bugs inside Leagues game mode only. Later down the line, when Leagues 2 and Leagues 3 came out, Jagex added extra features for those leagues specifically. This item is similar to the other Jagex moderator tools like the Rotten Egg that can teleport you to any place in Gillenor. Then we have the Rotten Carrot that can ban any player with a single click. Then we have the Rotten Strawberry that works specifically for bosses and locations. Then we have the Rotten Cabbage that was specifically used for camera control like you saw during Deadman tournaments. And finally, the most infamous Rotten Potato that allows Jagex moderators to do multitude of things like set stats, teleport, open banks anywhere, delete any item, see other players' inventory, and transform yourself into any NPC in the game. And it seems like Jagex moderators might actually bring the League's Tomato back this year as we're getting closer and closer to Leagues 4. I guess we have to wait and see. By the way, if you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. That way it helps me know what my audience wants to see in my videos. Thank you very much. I love you all. Mwah. Okay, let's continue. Item number 3 is the Soul Talisman and Soul Tiara. Funnily enough, these items have been in the game for almost 20 years, but it was always unobtainable because there wasn't any soul altar in the game. However, in 2016, Arceus got a massive rework, and blood and soul altars were added into the game, but since you didn't need the Soul Talisman to enter the altar anymore, these items were removed from the game forever. To this day, you can still use the soul altar without the talisman, so it's safe to say that the Soul Talisman will never make a return. Next one is actually not an item, but rather than a place that you can't access. However, it's still in the game. When you use the games necklace to teleport to Bertop and you go downstairs to the castle, you get into the games room. You soon start to notice that there are 8 rooms in the games room that are completely inaccessible. They contain nothing but crates and barrels, but initially Jagex wanted to add more games into the games room, like warships, chess, backgammon, and even games like Go and Slime Wars. The games room was released 19 years ago, and unfortunately these other games I mentioned were never added into it. However, the rooms are still there to this day. Item number 5, free-to-play starter pack. Back in 2015, when free-to-play was released, another item called the Holiday Tool was given to live streamers, clan leaders, and few other players to distribute free-to-play starter packs to new players. The Holiday Tool could only spawn around 200 starter packs per day, so it had a limit, and the starter pack consisted of a lot of beginner items to get people started with their journey. The current GE value for the starter pack is a little bit less than 2k, and it was just a way to celebrate the start of free-to-play. As far as we know, and the information we have available to us, this item actually never left the game, so there might be a few accounts back from 2015 that still have this item in their bank and just don't know about it, which makes it basically one of the rarest items in the game. Item number 6. This is one of the rarest items in the game just for the simple fact that I don't think anyone can obtain this ever. However, it's still in the game. Burnt Pita breads. The reason why it's so rare is because you stop burning the pita bread at level 38 cooking. However, you can't actually cook the pita until you get 58 cooking, meaning you can technically never burn it. Players have tried to use a multitude of different methods to gain access to this item, like using diseases to lower your cooking levels, but the biggest problem is that you need to use a cooking range to get the item, which makes it impossible to obtain. This was also confirmed by Mod Ash later down the line that indeed, yes, currently it's literally impossible to obtain this item. Item number 7. This time we're actually talking about NPCs, not items. Back in 2013, Jagex hosted the very first Christmas event, and during that event you had to talk to 3 kids in Karamja and save them from a goblin. If the player had completed the event, they will continue to see those 3 kids in Karamja forever. However, if you never started the Christmas event, the kids never appeared for your character specifically, making this the first and the only NPCs in old school RuneScape that are discontinued. So, if you completed the 2013 Christmas event, you accidentally unlocked one of the rarest NPCs in old school RuneScape. Item number 8. There was an item called Fireworks, which was an unobtainable potion released with Snapdragon back in the day. It was intended to be a cosmetic potion that created with Snapdragons, and the secondary ingredient was supposed to come from Brimhaven Agility Arena that was released on the same exact day. Normal potions have one extra option, which is empty. This potion, however, had another option called Light, so essentially you needed to use a tinderbox to create fireworks. The potion, however, was scrapped for unknown reasons, but it is thought that the level of fireworks animation you currently see were initially used for this potion, and afterwards the animation was instead added to leveling up. Okay, we have 2 more items to go, and I say those 2 specifically for last because they're my personal favorites. Firstly, there was a telekinetic crab tablet. Yes, it was intended to be made just like any other tablet in your player-owned house, and it was a tradable item. It was intended to be used as telekinetic crab spell without requiring the use of normal spellbook. But supposedly it was too overpowered and Jagex decided to remove it from the game forever. And last but not least, we have my personal favorite discontinued item, which are the Leagues trophies. As someone who is proud owner of 2 Dragon trophies, these are considered one of the rarest and ultimately best discontinued items in old school RuneScape. No bias. You could only obtain these during the leagues, and specifically the Dragon Trophy was for players who were top 1% of players during leagues. Despite there being millions of old school RuneScape players throughout the years, it is currently estimated that less than 5,742 players currently own any version of Dragon Trophy. These trophies are mostly for cosmetic purposes. The only thing they have is a nifty animation, and ultimately it's there to just flex that you have no life. However, currently there are a total of 21 trophies for 3 leagues, meaning each league had 7 trophies in total, ranging from bronze to dragon, making all 21 items discontinued forever. Well, this was it. So let me know if I missed any important items that you know about down in the comments. And once again, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you subscribe. But that's it from me. I'll see you all tomorrow with another video. I love you all very much. Bye. Mwah.